back to BLOCKTV, where it is time for Links in the Chain. We sit down with major players of the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry to hear about their latest developments and get their take on events shaping the sphere. Very happy to be joined again today by one of the industry's leaders and influencers from Victoria, Canada, Blockstream CSO Samson Mow. I want to begin with some fresh, first of all, hello to you, Samson.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
Thank you for being with us again. I want to start with some fresh news actually that deals with you guys. Blockstream. On the Blockstream front,
Yes.
I'm taking, and of course I'm talking about the launch of Tether on the Liquid sidechain. And it's another recent development of Blockstream, which is opening up your satellite messaging service to Twitter. But first of all, tell me, let's start with actually the Tether bit. What was behind that? You know, how's it going? What was the notion and the idea behind that move?
Well, we launched the Liquid network, and we've been onboarding a lot of new projects and assets, such as Tether. So we've been talking with the Tether team, Bitfinex team, for a good while, and it's one of the major stablecoins on the market right now. Right. It's got a $4 billion market cap and 20 billion in trading volume. So it's something that we really wanted to bring to the Liquid network so that traders can move liquid Bitcoin, trade it for liquid Tether, and arb between different exchanges, and have better privacy.
And did this? First of all, this has been launched already, right? It's a move that has started.
Yes, it's already live on the Liquid network, and Bitfinex is processing deposits and withdrawals.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's just off to a good start. It's only been like a day, so I think we're getting there.
You're getting there, and the goal with this is to get to what numbers? Just wondering.
Well, my hope is that we'll take all of the Omni Tether. So I would say the Liquid network is an upgrade to the Omni. So if we can get all the Omni Tether into Liquid, that'd be great.
Okay. Another recent development by Blockstream is the opening of your satellite messaging service to Twitter. First of all, break down for me, what does that mean exactly?
Right, so you can send messages and files over Blockstream satellite, and then our satellite engineer, Grubles, he built a satellite service to broadcast those messages. So it's running over his node, and he's processing the messages and broadcasting them over Twitter.
So it's messages that are being broadcast over Twitter from someone in space?
Well, someone would broadcast the message to our service, and it would bounce up to the satellites and then down to everyone on Earth.
Okay, from the Blockstream satellite in space.
Yes,
What's the
and then one of the
significance of
nodes
this?
has to get the messages and then tweet them. And that's what Grubles built.
Okay. The idea behind that being what? I mean, I'm loving it, very sexy idea, but why?
Well, we think that it's interesting if you can have a uncensorable medium of broadcast. So you can send messages to anybody and for free.
And for free and without anybody monitoring?
Well, you can monitor the receiving of messages, like if you're getting the messages on your dish, but you don't know who sent the message.
All right. I'm moving on to news of the day because all the exciting things, Mr. Mow, that you guys are doing at Blockstream are fascinating. And needless to say, you are one of the players, wheelers and dealers in the sphere. But first of all, we have not spoken since I think the winter of Bitcoin to begin with. And I'm wondering with you, with everything that's happening, sudden announcement that we heard yesterday, LedgerX, I'm assuming you know, that it's beginning to offer physically backed Bitcoin futures, overtaking the much anticipated and touted launch of a similar product by Bakkt. I mean, we were all expecting Bakkt to do it. There we have it. LedgerX just beat them to the punch. What do you think this will do to the sphere? And what do you think this will do to the, let's say, the price of the all-beloved Bitcoin? What will be the effects of this, and how important is this?
Well, I think LedgerX has been in the game for a while, so that they're coming to market faster is kind of a natural progression. But I think Bakkt is in user acceptance testing now, so that should come along pretty quickly.
It
impact-wise.
Impact-wise, yeah. But
look,
it is no secret, though, that LedgerX did beat them to the punch in some ways. But in impact-wise, what does this do for the market?
Well, it's just another place that you can trade Bitcoin, and I think it's good for the market overall.
It's great for the market overall. I think especially in these times of of talk about additional coins, additional endeavors in the crypto sphere. That's fine. Let's switch to Libra then. When it comes to Libra, okay, when it comes to Facebook, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently gave an interview to Bloomberg in which he suggested that Facebook shot itself in the leg by being too arrogant, and for the fact that they rolled out so quickly the announcement, but the coin itself and the whole mechanism is not in place. Let's have a listen. Then I'd love to hear your take on it. This is what he had to say.
You think Facebook's plan is a little presumptuous? Why?
I think they've taken a very bold, ambitious effort, which is part of what makes Silicon Valley great, right? We have these incredible entrepreneurs who think big, think outside the box. I think it was a little bit, maybe more than just ambitious, maybe a little bit arrogant to take the approach of, hey, we're going to build, the white paper articulates a new currency. I think the US dollar actually works pretty well. One of the things I tweeted last week is a moment where I agree with the president on this. Like, we don't need a new fiat currency, the G20, the dollar, the pound, the yen. There might be some smaller markets where the Argentinian peso, that might make sense. But I think that's a longer tail. And I just think the way they rolled it out, as we saw, there's a lot of turbulence, a lot of headwinds. This will be interesting to see how that plays out.
What do you make of this? I would say the criticism, rightfully in place, many would argue, when it comes to the role of Libra. But what do you make of it?
Well, I think Brad Garlinghouse should be critical of Libra because Libra is a direct attack on Ripple. If Libra succeeded, there's no need for Ripple. So if Libra doesn't make it, I think he'd be very happy.
Well, that is an obvious thing, but let's put him aside for a second. What do you think of Libra? Is this the road to mass adoption? Do you think that Libra or Facebook owning one of these, first steps of, let's call it a cryptocurrency, although we can agree that that it might necessarily be one, but this is, once it launches, it will change the sphere? It'll be mass adopted?
I don't really think it'll change anything. It's just a centralized payment system and backed by a basket of currencies. They should have just used Bitcoin because now they're running into all these regulatory hurdles because they need to be regulated. So they're dealing with the US government, and they'll probably need to deal with the European government and every government in every jurisdiction which they want to launch in. So it's just going to be PayPal 2.0, but with a basket of currency.
PayPal 2.0 actually once referred to it as PayPal with a conscience. Do you think it's even going to happen? I'm wondering because there's been so many hurdles on the way. The Senate hearings, can this even be something that is launched? So, Mr. Mow, just wondering with you about Libra, because already this week there were some reports that even within a call of the Facebook, I'd say quarterly call, there were mentions that Libra will be postponed if it will happen at all. Do you think there's a chance of that? It just won't happen?
Well, I was one of the first people that actually said that it may not happen because it's very unlikely that they will launch because they have to be regulated in multiple jurisdictions. So they're either going to be slogging through approvals from the US government and every government along the way, or they're not. And I think they have to be regulated. So it's going to be a long process, and it is not that likely that they're going to launch. And I think they're aware of that too, because they did brief their shareholders. I think Facebook briefed their shareholders that they may not be able to launch Libra.
So, Mr. Mow, one more thing though. Other last thoughts about Libra?
Yeah, with the deployment of Tether, USDT on Liquid, that kind of makes Libra obsolete already, even before it launches. Because now, we just announced today that we have C Lightning working on Liquid. So now you can have a Lightning network sitting on top of a Liquid asset, which means like if there are large pools of liquidity for Tether, they can establish a Lightning network, and then you can use Tether for retail payments, which are instantaneous and almost free.
Now, finally, I want to ask you something about the other side of the globe. China, needless to say, not a big fan of Bitcoin, but China, the Bank of China recently, as recent as this week, surprised the ecosystem by putting out a new infographic, literally an infographic by the Bank of China that was seen as supportive, one can argue, who knows, or more of a, Bitcoin 101. It kind of downplayed it being Now it can be downplayed as just an infographic, but the fact that they were explaining Bitcoin to their customers / people, etc. What does that mean? What did you make of it?
I'm not sure what to make of it yet. It could just be someone at the Bank of China that got trigger happy and posted the article, or it could be some sort of an endorsement. But it's just very surprising nonetheless, because I would have never expected to see anything about Bitcoin on a Bank of China website.
No, entirely. It surprised us as well. I think nobody really understands what the idea behind that was. What else can we expect this year from Blockstream and from your folks?
We have a lot more stuff. I can't talk about it yet, but we do have a lot of things in the works.
Give me a
usually
taste.
Blockstream, pardon me?
I said, give me a taste, a hint.
Give you a taste. Well, everything we do tries to augment Bitcoin or make it more decentralized. So you can think along those lines and speculate.
That's not giving me much. What can you tell us?
Well, there will be upgrades to Blockstream Satellite. We'll have upgrades to Blockstream Green, and of course, more things rolling out in Liquid.
Entirely. And now if you want to message through space, we can do that too, right?
Yep.
Brilliant. Samson Mow, I cannot thank you enough for joining us on this late hour for you right now from Canada. Needless to say, we're following Blockstream and the Liquid sidechain, and always good to have you on. We are BLOCKTV. We'll be right back.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter